Kirby Smart meeting with the media here today in Butts-Mehre Heritage Hall to talk about the scrimmage and what the Bulldogs have had. And, the head coach mentioned they didn't have that 105 or 110 degree heat index. It almost sounded like you wish they had. Although it sounds like the team had a pretty productive scrimmage. Kirby said overall he was very happy with the effort. He mentioned special teams in particular. Some things not tackling as well as he would like at this stage of the season. Their preseason mentioned that there were some procedure penalties, as there typically is. Just kind of an overarching report from Kirby. Sounded very positive. There wasn't really any injuries to speak of per se. He did talk about some players when asked in particular, and I thought Chris Cole, a guy we've heard a lot about. This is a really talented linebacker and apparently a very versatile linebacker. As Kirby talked about the need for Cole to play inside linebacker on the edge and in coverage. He says he's going to be lined up against some tight ends and he'll be playing some third downs, and he'll need to be instrumental in that role as a third down player as well as first and second. Kind of sounds like a guy that can do a lot of different things. It sounds like he'll be a very important player on the defense this year. One guess, and a very talented freshman offensive lineman that's competing for one of the offensive guard spots. We've heard really glowing reports, but Kirby says, hey, he can't sustain it yet in terms of playing a large number of snaps. So as the snaps proceed, the quality of Gaston's play goes down. He mentioned that one's already lost 25 or 30 pounds, but sounds like this really talented offensive lineman. We're going to see more of him this season, but has some work to do just in general. Ellis Robinson, you saw in DawgNation, we reported he's competing right now with Daniel Harris for that starting cornerback spot opposite of the veteran Dalen Everett. Ellis, a guy that Kirby says not afraid of contact, can make some really nice plays on the ball. Still some things he can do a little bit better, but it sounds like that competition is very engaged there. Could go into the season. Not a bad problem to have. I mean, there's going to be times when Georgia may have three cornerbacks on the field, depending on the offensive formation. And, of course, we know attrition is real, and depth is very important, especially at this level. Nate Frazier, tailback, didn't get a lot of work in the scrimmage. You don't read too much into that. Nate, kind of the projected starter at this time. Mentioned Nate still needs to work on blitz pickups and third down situations in particular, but he feels like Frazier is running with more confidence than he did a year ago. Now, quarterback was a little bit of a mixed bag. I asked Kirby specifically about Gunnar Stockton, part of a two-part question. The other part was tight ends, and he glossed right over Gunnar and went right to the tight ends, and I didn't know what to make of that. Someone else asked him about Ryan Puglisi as well as Ryan Montgomery, the number 2 and 3 quarterbacks, and Kirby had a lot to say about those guys.
Prepares really hard. He studies. He's smart. He picks things up. He makes mistakes, as they all do, and he learns from them. He generally knows when he messed up. He's walking off the field in the scrimmage and didn't change the protection on a play that he knew he shouldn't have, and he knew it messed him up, but he knew it right away, which is different than where he was this time last year.
So it sounds like George is building the sort of depth in the quarterback room that they may need to win a championship. Very important to have those backup quarterbacks. It wasn't too long ago, Stetson Bennett came off the bench in 2021 and helped lead Georgia to a national championship, and of course 2022 perfect season. So good news to hear that Puglisi is making some progress, in Montgomery, a guy that didn't play his senior year of high school or injured early on and didn't really get to go through the spring. So very impressive that Ryan Montgomery is already picking things up. Now, as I mentioned, he did answer the question about the tight ends. Kirby wasn't as thrilled with the tight end room as everybody else. He said, hey, when you're open, you're supposed to catch the pass. Now, he did say all the tight ends did some really good things, and he said all the tight ends, did some not so good things. He did say that he didn't see one tight end break a tackle. So pretty clear that Kirby raising the bar on that very talented tight end room. Lawson Lucky, Oscar Dell, Jaden Riddell, these are guys we expect to make an impact this year, but the head coach wants to see more, wants to see broken tackles, wants to see yards after the catch, clearly trying to inspire those guys. And this team, to be clear, is becoming a very close team. Drew Bobo spoke with the media today, and he talked about the continuity and the connectedness that these Bulldogs have. When I asked him the difference from last year to this year, that was the first thing he mentioned. Of course, this team's been staying together in a hotel across the room as they go through fall camp and get through these dog days. And Bobo likes the vibe they have. Kirby had some nice things to say about Drew Bobo as well. So a pretty positive vibe coming out of this building, even though Kirby did seem to want to downplay it a little bit because there's plenty of work left to do before that August 30 opener against Marshall.